This video will demonstrate how to set up your 2016 Certified CellCam Series Scouting camera. You will need a white SIM card which has already been set up at secure.covert wireless, an SD card between 4 and 32 gigabytes, and a set of AA batteries. Also, have access to your Covert Wireless app or web portal. First, insert your SIM card in the side slot. Next, insert your SD card in the bottom slot and slide the switch to the setup position. Now that the camera is on setup, wait for it to gain signal and connect to the portal. Once the camera is fully connected and the IMEI has flashed across the screen, press the menu button. The first tab, Cam, will allow us to change the camera settings, highlight camera mode, and set it to photo. Once photo is shown, press OK to save. This camera will take videos, however, you will not be able to view videos on your Covert Wireless app. Scroll down to photo size. This camera has 4 different image size options. The options are 3, 5, 8, and 12 megapixel. Choose your desired resolution and press OK to save. Keep in mind, this is what's saved to the SD card. What you receive through the app will be VGA. Photo burst is the next option. This camera comes with 1 through 10 photo shot burst options. For this camera, we will set the photo burst option on 3 and press OK to save. This means anytime the camera is triggered, 3 photos will be taken in one trigger. When receiving images to the app, only the first image taken will be displayed. The others will be stored to the SD card. The last option is video size. As you can see, it's grayed out because we have our camera set to photo mode. If you were to set the camera in video mode, you would want the video size set to VGA, but again remember, this camera will not send videos to your app or web portal. Once the Cam tab is highlighted, we will select the right arrow key to move to the PIR tab. This tab will allow you to control your camera's sensitivity, trigger interval, time lapse, and start-stop. The first option is sensitivity. For Kentucky, we leave the cameras on normal or 10 to 80 degrees. If you are in an area that experiences much higher temperatures than 80 degrees, set your camera to high. Likewise, if you're in an area that experiences 10 degrees or lower, set the sensitivity to low. Remember, press OK to save. Trigger interval is the next option. This is the amount of time the camera takes to reset. Normally, we leave our cameras on 30 seconds. This means once the camera is triggered and saved, it'll be another 30 seconds to shoot another image or photo. The last option is time lapse. This option allows you to take a photo every so often, such as every 5 seconds, up to every 8 hours. If time lapse is on, the camera will not take triggered images, only as set. For our purposes, we will leave our time lapse off and press OK to save. The last option for this tab is Start-Stop. If you choose to turn this option on, you will set the camera for the times you want pictures taken, such as starting at 7 a.m. and ending at 1 p.m. or 1300 hours. We want our camera to take pictures any trigger around the clock, so we make sure this option is off and press OK to save. Now the PIR is highlighted. We will use the right arrow key to scroll over to the Net or Network tab. The first option in this tab is Send mode. There are only 2 options, on or off. If you're wanting to receive photos from this camera, you'll want the Send mode set on Instant and press OK to save. The max number screen will appear. This will allow you to set the number of images you want to receive per day. For our purposes, we want to receive every triggered image, so this camera will be set on 00, which stands for unlimited. Press OK to save. This will return you to the Net tab screen. Scroll down to Remote Control. This allows us to communicate with our camera, such as requesting an image through the app or web portal. If you have your camera set on delay, the server will only ping the camera per setting delay. If you set your camera on a 2-hour delay and request a real-time photo, you will not receive that image until the 2 hours have passed. For this camera, we want our controls set to real time. The next selection is FW Download. You will only use this when needing to update the software on this camera. The last tab is SYS, or Systems. The first option is Set Clock. To set the clock, press over the highlighted Enter. You will use the up and down arrow keys to change the month, and then press the right arrow key to highlight the date. Again, use the up and down arrow keys to save the date. You will continue to save for the time. Press OK to save. The next option is Timestamp. Timestamp is the option to allow the photos taken to show the time, date, moon phase, and battery life at the bottom of your images. We leave this option on and press OK to save. The next option is Flash Power. Low settings will be for trails and close-up images. We typically leave ours on high for images at a further distance. The next option is Password. If you want to password protect your camera, use the right arrow key and say On, and select OK. You will then be prompted to enter the password you desire. Once you have set the password, press OK. For our purposes, we are going to leave the password protection off and press OK. The rename feature allows you to name the camera. However, you will need to rename on the secure.coverletwireless.com webpage. This rename will appear on your images in the timestamp information bar. Our next option is Overwrite. This option allows your camera to overwrite the oldest images with the newest ones. The Format option erases all images and files from your SD card. To do this, highlight Enter and press OK. The last option is Default Set. This will set your camera back to factory settings. To do this, highlight Save under the default set and press OK. When in the field and want to view images, simply slide the on-off switch to Setup. Once the viewing screen appears, press the playback to view your images. Use the left and right arrow keys to scroll. Your certified cell camera is now set up.